And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are here at Kansas Speedway for our final race of the regular season. After this event is over, folks, we will know who is going to be battling out for the Snickers Cup Series Championship here in Season 7. Can't wait for it. Don't forget, the winner of today's race automatically gets into the chase as well. We ended up seeing it happen in the Truck Series race with Kyle Corbett. He had already mathematically made the chase, but that automatically locked him in anyway. Dylan Young got a his second win of the season yesterday. He got locked into the chase, and here today we could have the same thing happen. It's going to be a very, very interesting race. Can't wait for it. Can't wait to get it underway, but we got to give you a little bit of foreground and background heading into this event on what's going to go down here today. 5 drivers come in already locked in to the chase for the championship. Ian Dutta, Joshua Collard, Bob Jones, Jacob Lawler, and Noah Hart. Regardless of where those guys finish here today, they will be battling it out for the Snickers Cup Series Championship. Danny Wells and Chris Washer, those two, really, if they come away with about a top 20 finish today, they basically are going to lock themselves in because they're running far enough ahead of 10th in points that they don't have a whole lot to worry about. But then, when you get from 8th on down, that's when it starts to get testy because you got Sean Galligan. He is a total of only 13 points ahead of 10th place. Now, here's the real close battle that's going to take place. Charles Sanford, he is 9th in points. He's only 3 points ahead of Megan Atkins and Sean Henley, who are 10th, 11th, but actually tied for 10th in points. Austin LaPlante trying to make his 3rd chase of the season. He's made the Oreo Truck Series Chase. He just barely made the Mobil Cup Series Chase, and he's only 1 point back from 10th in points here today, trying to make all 3 chases. As a matter of fact, I believe he'd be the only driver to actually be in all 3 chases for the championship. Then, right behind him, only 3 points out of 10th, that's Harrison Langford and Richard Johnson, 2 teammates out of Penny Enterprises. They're 13th and 14th in points. Pichu London is only 7 points out. He's 15th in points. Anthony McCurry is only 8 points out. He's 16th in points. And Andrea Erickson is only 10 points out, and she is 17th in points. So from 8th place on down through 17th, that's basically going to be the big clump of drivers we're going to be looking at here today, of drivers trying to work their way into the top 10 or stay in the top 10 to make this season's chase. On the pole position is Daniel Day in the 24. How would it be for Daniel Day? He is last in the standings of the drivers that have competed in just about every event here. He's bypassed Kenny McCurry, the driver he replaced, but he came in mid-season. How would it be for Daniel Day in a season where he didn't even take the green flag at Daytona to win here today and automatically be in the chase for the championship? He wasn't able to get into the Mobil Cup Series Chase, but he could here today. Alongside of him, a former Snickers Cup Series champ from Season 5. That's John Cittadino. He's not in championship contention, but if he wins today, boom, he's automatically in the chase for the championship. Ian Dutta, he didn't have to worry about anything, but how would it be for him to be able to get 5 extra bonus points towards the chase? That'd be 15 bonus points once the chase field is all put together for that number 66 car. That would put him way out in front of the other drivers. That could be something he'd look at today. And one of those bubble drivers, Andrea Erickson, she's basically one of the long shots, but not a long shot in that it's basically impossible. She's only 8 points out of the top position, 10 points out of the top position, or top 10 in the standings. So she's right up here at the front. Good qualifying spot for the 42. We'll see if maybe that'll pay dividends here today. Bass Pro Shops fills up row 3 with Kyle Corbett and Pichu London. Now Corbett, he's been to victory lane already this season, but he's 22nd in points. Pichu London has not been to victory lane yet this season, and he's 15th in points, as we said, only 7 points out of 10th place. This is going to be one wild race, folks, and I can't wait to get it started. Let's get it started now, shall we? You're going to take a look at the starting lineup at the top of your screen, and this is where it's going to start to get good. Our Mobil Cup Series event, when we finally finished it up and we had the chase put together, we ended up having 14 drivers that were eligible to battle for the championship. What's going to happen here today? Will we have something similar? I have no idea, but I can't wait to find out. Let's take a look and see where a couple of the drivers that are those bubble drivers, where they're going to be starting. How about the guy that comes in that critical 10th position? That is Sean Henley, starting mid-pack there alongside of Richard Johnson. Where's the driver he comes in tied in with? Megan Atkins. She's starting, it looks like, a little bit further back. So the 33 and the 25, they come in tied for 10th in points. How are they going to do today? We saw Richard Johnson starting up there alongside of Sean Henley. Where is Austin LaPlante in the 48? He's starting pretty close up to the front. How about Anthony McCurry? We saw where Pichu London was starting. There's McCurry starting just a little ways ahead there as well. So everybody peppered through this field. Who is going to be in the chase once this race is over? We're about to find out. Green flag ready to come out. 27 laps of racing. Daniel Day, a rookie. John Cittadino, a former champ, get us underway here at Kansas. And I forgot to mention the race sponsor. It's the Green Giant 400. I apologize. But I don't think many people are really worrying about the race name of this thing. Is whoa, look out, Daniel Day gets moved into the middle. Cittadino got moved to the high side. And Ian Dutta in the Hunt Brothers Pizza SS out of Stewart-Haas Racing. He's going to go to the front right here. He's going to lead the very first lap. I kind of found it ironic when we were looking at the starting grid how John Cittadino, a former champion, had the ride that he put in the chase and won the championship with 2 seasons ago, starting behind him that 42 car out of Sega Motorsports. That's his teammate too, and all the caution's out already. Wow. I wasn't expecting that. I thought we were still racing, and apparently not. Caution is waving. Who's it for? Oh, Jake Cole, runner-up last week at Pocono. Richard Johnson is involved. That's one of those drivers that was eligible to make the chase. He was only 3 points out of 10th place. He's involved. Drew Austin is slow. And Austin LaPlante, who is trying to make it 3 for 3 and making chases. He's got some damage on his Lowe's Impala. And LaPlante was only 1 point back from 10th in the standings. Looks like Harrison Langford was just here at the rear of the field. Doesn't look like he got involved in anything. That's another driver that's 13th in points, only 3 points out. And here comes LaPlante. Here comes Richard Johnson. If I'm these guys, I'm risking it. I would just try and get that damage repaired, get back out there on the track, because for Austin LaPlante, it's 1 point. For Richard Johnson, it's 3 points, separating them from getting into that top 10. And LaPlante, he will continue. Richard Johnson will continue. Smart move by those guys. Drew Austin doesn't appear to really have any damage, but he was way back here, so maybe he got slowed up and did get involved. And there's Harrison Langford. But Ian Dutta, the points leader, is out in front here, trying to pick up his 3rd win of the season. Let's look back at a replay of what just happened. Now let's see if we can find out what exactly happens here. Austin LaPlante gets really loose going into 3 and 4 there. Jake Cole goes underneath him, Richard Johnson goes underneath him, and Joshua Michaels is the one that's going to attempt a 4-wide situation. And we've seen all week at Kansas, you can't do that. It doesn't work. And there they go, the 4 of them up and into the fence. Austin LaPlante's going to get some air. Jake Cole's actually going to go up and into the catch fence. So does LaPlante. And oh, they're going to come down in front of traffic, aren't they? Oh, William Duncan, 6. He gets a little piece of Austin LaPlante there. Look there at Megan Atkins, the 33, was right behind this, 10th in points, tied for 10th with Sean Henley. And there you see on the right side of your screen, Drew Austin gets into fellow Dodge Richard Johnson, so he was involved. But look at that 39 of Jake Cole. After getting up into the catch fence, barrel rolling down the front straightaway. Last week he almost picked up his first win of the season, but he got beaten out by James McLeod on the final lap. Had to settle for a runner-up finish, and oh man, Jake Cole, this is certainly not the kind of week that he was hoping to have after a good week last week at Pocono, and that car is destroyed. The Alltel Chevrolet out of Stewart-Haas Racing. Boy, Kansas all of a sudden playing a big part into who may make this chase and who may not. As Jake Cole goes for a barrel roll on the front straightaway, his teammate, though, is leading this race. Let's go back for the restart. Getting ready to go back to green on lap 6 of 27. That was a quick caution there that we had come out. I thought that these drivers, more than likely, the way they were racing, that they had settled it out and we were actually going to get into a bit of a green flag run, but that apparently was not the case. Ian Dutta is the leader. 2nd place, Daniel Day. 3rd is Kyle Corbett. John Cittadino 4th. 5th, Cody Lamas. Dylan Pote teed up in 6th. 7th is Andrea Erickson. Anthony McCurry now up in 8th. 9th, Pichu London. And Jacob Lawler is locked into the chase, and he is 10th right now. He doesn't have a win this season, so it'd be a big opportunity for him to get 5 bonus points too. As Ian Dutta is about to get us back underway, I believe only one driver is out of the race, and that is indeed the case. The 39 of Jake Cole not able to continue. Richard Johnson, Austin LaPlante, though a couple of drivers that are still in the hunt to get into the top 10 in points and make the chase. They continue on. We'll see if trouble breaks out. If trouble does break out, that could be a blessing for the 48 and the 93. This thing goes clean and green to the end, though, and we don't have any pit stops or any wrecks or anything like that to shuffle it up, then those two are in big trouble. Because if they go into a long green flag run, these leaders, this is, I believe, a 1.5 mile speedway, and they could catch up to them here at the end of 27 laps. You never know. Meanwhile, good battle going on back here. That's for the 5th position, Dylan Poteet. This is the most we've seen out of that 78 in a while. He's going to go underneath his buddy Cody Lamas. Anthony McCurry now moving past as well. Now, I'll tell you what, Anthony McCurry has really turned up the heat lately. Remember all the way back, I believe it was at Rockingham, UK, when we saw that aggressive style out of Anthony McCurry, ended up getting into, I believe at the time, it was Charles Jackson. He came away with a decent finish then. He ended up winning a couple weeks ago at Charlotte, the longest race of the season, and did pretty well last week at Pocono, and now he's got himself up there in a chance to put 2 Audis in this season's chase. Remember back to last season, Anthony McCurry was the only Audi to make the chase. He had no wins, and by the time the chase happened, everything just seemed to fall apart for that 61 team. Right now, he's got himself in a pretty good situation inside the top 10. Up here, though, got a 3-way battle for the lead. Ian Dutta has it, but for the first time today, he may lose it. Daniel Day to the inside. Johnson Adino going to go 3 wide. Almost contact between Daniel Day and Ian Dutta. And here comes Kyle Corbett into the fray now. Right now, we pretty much know for certain that Jacob Lawler, he's in the chase. Noah Hart, Bob Jones, Joshua Collard, and Ian Dutta. But these guys up here at the front of the field, a number of them, Day, Citadino, Corbett, Dylan Poteet especially, they really are not in mathematical contention to get into the championship hunt. If they win today, it doesn't matter where they are in points. They could be dead last in points. They could have 0 points to their name. They'd automatically be in this season's chase for the championship. And look at this, rookie Daniel Day holding off a former champ in John Citadino right now. Daniel Day doing all he can. If you look, though, at John Citadino and Daniel Day this season, Daniel Day has 1 career win in Season 8. John Citadino has none. Daniel Day had a win at Auto Club in the Mobil Cup Series earlier on this season. As now, John Citadino has gotten around Daniel Day for the lead. Here comes Kyle Corbett. Now, Corbett really tried getting his season turned around back at Charlotte. Came away still with a top 10, but he got involved in that incident with the cars that were on the tail end of the lead lap when he was running in 2nd place. And the guy that benefited from that actually is the guy that's right behind Dylan Poteet there, Anthony McCurry. Pretty doggone nice to see that 19 car of Charles Jackson up there in the top 10. This has been the guy that has had the worst amount of luck in the past few weeks, pretty much ever since the start of the second half of the regular season, Charles Jackson. He was up inside the top 10 in points for about the first 10-15 races of the season, and now he is all the way down in 37th place. Charles Jackson having a great run here today. It doesn't look like he may be able to defend his title unless he can win this race or get in the LCQ next week at Talladega. But Charles Jackson, he wants to get back in the hunt for his championship, go back-to-back here in the Snickers Cup Series. Up here, though, they're starting to get racy. Dylan Poteet just got around Daniel Day. That was for 3rd. Anthony McCurry now looking for 4th, and Jacob Lawler right behind him. I was talking to Jacob Lawler last week after his good run at Pocono, and, you know, Jacob Lawler ended up winning that NNSCRA 3-year anniversary demolition derby at Bristol, and he had the opportunity to either choose a chase of his spot, or chase a spot of his choosing, or a Season 8 Snickers Cup Series ride. His choice was the Season 8 Snickers Cup Series ride, and apparently that ended up being the correct decision because he's already locked in as a 2-time winner in the Truck Series, in the Oreo Truck Series Chase for the championship, and now he comes in here locked into the Snickers Cup Series Chase for the championship, and en route to maybe a good finish here as he is in 6th place, but look up, or in 5th place I should say. Look at Dylan Poteet going underneath of Kyle Corbett. Little bit of history about Dylan Poteet. Back in, I believe it was season 4. It was Arizona Speedway. It was the final weekend of the season. The winners of the events at that weekend, just like here at Kansas, automatically got into the chase for the championship. Dylan Poteet ended up winning the Truck Series and the Snickers Cup Series events that weekend and got into those 2 chases. Dylan Poteet knows what it is to come out on top when it's crunch time, and right now he is trying to run down John Citadino, the current leader, Anthony McCurry, right behind him in tow. Right now, though, John Citadino is leading this event. only one Sega Motorsports win amongst himself, Trent Dunham, and Andrea Eriksson, and that's the rookie Andrea Eriksson who picked it up earlier on this season at Phoenix. Between the three Sega Motorsports drivers, there are 3 championships, 2 for Trent and 1 for John Cittadino. Trent's championships in trucks and mobile, Cittadino's, of course, in Snickers. But for such a powerhouse Chevrolet team, only 1 win amongst them. John Cittadino trying to remedy that and maybe get himself into the chase for the championship, but he's got a lot of hungry drivers back here. A lot of known veterans as well. Dylan Poteet, Anthony McCurry, Jacob Lawler, who's a former Daytona 500 winner too, let's not forget. And there's Ian Dutta, the points leader. He lost the lead of this race, but he's still there in the top 5. And I can tell you right now, I think as far as Ian Dutta is concerned, I think this is a statement. He could have very easily fallen back to the top 20, top 25, because he knows he's going to make the chase. But this is a statement to those drivers that he's going to be battling for the championship. He's saying, hey, take a look here. Even when I don't have to, I'm going to race you hard. And he's running right now in the top 5, trying to come away with yet another great finish. For that 66 team is up ahead. Battle for second. Well, that went away quickly. Looked like Anthony McCurry was going to go underneath Poteet. There's smoke there in turn 1 and 2. And it's Dougie Shears. Dougie Shears, the Season 1 champ, is in trouble. And I don't think they throw a caution. They didn't. Austin LaPlante has just made a pit stop too. James Silverfox has now got damaged. Something just happened, and they didn't throw a yellow. And there's a lap machine of Richard Johnson. Well, actually, he's not a lap down yet, but he could be very soon. As Johnson and the leaders are catching him, he's just up ahead. I wanted to quickly, before we get to that machine, talk about Chris Washer there out of Everham Mayonnaise Racing. 2-time winner this season, 7th in points. He's poised to get himself into the top 10. If he ends up finishing poorly today, I think he would get a wild card spot nonetheless, but still running very well right there in that number 10 machine. As there's the Dougie Shears machine still on pit road. There's Mary Cole there in the 18 and 10th place, and there's Danny Wells, another of those drivers that's got to race his way into the chase. Comes in this race 6th in points. And I told you that he and Chris Washer basically just had to run well today, stay inside the top 20. Both of them are doing that, and so right now it looks like we're going to have a Everham Mayonnaise Racing Dodge and a Tweenix Racing Chevrolet representing in the top 10. Charles Jackson slipped back now to 13th. Dylan Young all over Pichu London for 14th. There's Joshua Collard, 16th place run right there. In his rookie season, he will make the Snickers Cup Series Chase for the championship. 2nd in the point standings right now, and running very well in that Richard Petty Motorsports Dodge. There's Sean Henley. And look at this. Look at this. This is an interesting battle. Sean Henley, Megan Atkins, who come in tied for 10th place in points, are battling for 17th and 18th on track right now. Now we know that Austin LaPlante has had trouble today. Richard Johnson's had trouble today. Harrison Langford, I think, is running near the rear of the field. We'll find him in just a minute. The only drivers they got to really worry about right now are Andrea Eriksson and Anthony McCurry, who are running up ahead of them. Now let's see what it would look like as far as where the drivers are running at the current moment. 17th and 18th for Sean Henley and Andrea Eriksson. They need Anthony McCurry to be running at least 8 positions ahead of them, no more. And I think McCurry is running further up than 8 positions. Yeah, he's in 2nd, battling for 2nd right there with Dylan Poteet. This kind of reminds me of the NNSCRA Icebreakers Online Series race at Las Vegas. Those two racing each other for 2nd place then. Actually, it was for 3rd place, but they're racing each other for 2nd right now. And Chris Washer closing in on them. Let's find Harrison Langford, see how much of an impact he's going to make in this. He's 36th on track right now, right behind Drew Austin and last week's winner, James McLeod. Not the best of runs for the Tweenix Racing Chevy. He picked up a win last week at Pocono, but when I talked to him in Victory Lane, he said it's a shame that that win had to come when they were so far down in the point stands that it really isn't going to help them as far as trying to make the chase for the championship. And there's Noah Hart, another of those drivers that we know is locked into the chase. And right now, he is running 33rd. Just ahead of him, Sean Galligan for Tweenix Racing. He is 31st on track. This could be trouble for him, because he comes in 8th in points, and as I said, he's only, I think, 13 points ahead of 10th in the standings. And with Sean Henley, Megan Atkins running up in 17th and 18th, they are a good 13 and 14 points ahead of him. And so that would be really, really close between Galligan Atkins, and Henley. Oh, wow, I just looked at the ticker, and we've only got 1 lap to go. White flag was just displayed. I've been talking about these drivers as far as chase contenders and everything. I didn't even look down at the ticker. This is the white flag lap, and Cittadino has led ever since getting by Ian Dutta. He is out in front, and he looks like he may win this thing. Anthony McCrory right behind him in second. Can McCrory make any move? Doesn't look like it. John Cittadino gonna dominate pretty much the second half of this race. He wins today, and the a former Snickers Cup Series champion who won 6 races in his rookie season will pick up his first win here of Season 7, and John Cittadino will go for a 2-time Snickers Cup Series champ as he is locked into this season's chase for the Snickers Cup Series championship now. I told you, doesn't matter where they come in points. If they win this race, they get into the chase. 25th in points was where John Cittadino came into this race. No wins to his name here in Season 7. He's in the chase for the championship. And oh boy, a new hound in the race, as they say in auction terms, just entered the fray in that number 72 out of Sega Motorsports. But I was so busy looking at the point scenarios for drivers making the chase and everything, I didn't even pay attention at the ticker on the bottom left that we had that little tiny bit of the race left to go. Let's take a look at the official top 10 here. Actually, before we do that, let's quickly jump back, see what happened to Dougie Shears and others, because James Silverfox, they had some damage. We really should document what happened there. They didn't throw a caution, but it still was a wreck. And here's a look at what happened. Dougie Shears, the meat, and a Kyotech Racing sandwich, and Noah Hart's going to be the one to make the initial contact into Shears. Shears then gets clipped by Silverfox, and the two of them are going to go up and into the fence. I don't believe Dougie Shears was able to drive away. That was a hard impact for the Red Bull Racing Toyota. I think his car actually came to rest up there on the higher groove of the racetrack, which really puzzles me why they didn't throw a caution flag for that. I mean, good grief, there's a disabled car on the high side of the track. But he teleports back to pit road, and they decide not to throw a caution. James Silverfox, though, comes away with damage from that. Tough break for him. He wasn't really mathematically eligible to win or to get into the top 10 in points, but who knows? He could have worked his way up into the top 5, top 10, and maybe picked up the win here and gotten into the chase. But that is a look at basically what happened there to Silverfox and Dougie Shears. So now as we fast forward back here now to real time, all the drivers gone back to the garage. John Cittadino going to victory lane. He'll be in the chase for the championship, and let's take a look now at where the rest of the chasers finished this race. Anthony McCrory. Now remember, McCrory comes into this race 8 points back from 10th in the standings. He may very well have just put the second Kyotech Racing Audi into the chase. I don't know, though. We're going to wait for the official word. Chris Washer, he's definitely going to be in the chase here. He only had to basically finish top 20. He'll finish in 3rd, so he's in the chase. Dylan Poteet's so close, but he's not going to be in the chase just yet. He could win the LCQ, but a 4th place run for him. Nice to see him actually have a good finish, though. Jacob Lawler, already locked into the chase, but still makes a statement in 5th. Same for Ian Dutta in 6th. Kyle Corbett, close to picking up his second win of the season. That could have gotten him a wild card spot, but he'll finish 7th today. Daniel Day, the pole sitter, stayed in the top 10 all day. Nice run for the rookie in 8th. Danny Wells, he's locked in the chase now. Came in 6th in points, needed a good run. He gets it in 9th. And Charles Jackson, nice to see the 19 at least come away with a top 10 here. I mean, that guy has had so much bad luck. It's nice to see them actually come away with a decent finish in that Best Buy Dodge. Looking further down, Andrea Eriksson. She was what we called the long shot, even though she was only 10 points out, but 12th place today. Let's see how she compares to Sean Henley and Megan Atkins. As a matter of fact, there they are. Henley comes away with a 15th place finish today. That could keep him in the top 10 in points. We'll have to see. Charles Sanford finished just ahead of him in 14th, so Sanford will be close on making the chase. Remember, as I said, I think I said it back at the Snickers Cup Series race at Pocono, that for the past 4 seasons, not including Barney Ward, for 3 out of the last 4 seasons, I should say, the Daytona 500 winner has made the chase for the championship. We'll see if Sanford can continue that on. Joshua Collard, great run for him. 2nd in points. He's already locked in the chase, but he gets 18th. Megan Atkins, who was in the same boat as Sean Henley, right there in that 10th position in points, right on that bubble. 19th today. Don't know if that's going to be enough to keep her in the top 10 contention. We'll see, though. As we look further down, Bob Jones didn't really have to finish well, and he really didn't. 26th place for him today. As we look further down for any other contenders, Sean Galligan, 31st today. That could be a big question mark there for the 44 team. because he came in 8th in the point standings, only 13 points ahead of Henley and Atkins, who finished much better than he did. Noah Hart, just like Bob Jones, didn't really need a good run and didn't get it, gets 33rd, and Harrison Langford really didn't get up there in the hunt for anything, 36th here. He may get that wild card spot, though, because I think he's going to be the only two-time winner outside the top 10 in points, so he would get wild card spot number 1. There's Austin LaPlante, 40th place. I think that's pretty much all she wrote for the 48. I don't think he'll make the chase. Same for Richard Johnson. It's a tough break there for Johnson and Austin LaPlante. LaPlante was trying to be a 3-for-3 in making this season's chases. And then, of course, Jake Cole out of the race, and Dougie Shears actually retired from the race as well in 41st position. But it's time to find out now who has made the Season 7 Snickers Cup Series Chase for the championship. We'll show you your official finish results and be right back to reveal to you your Season 7 Chase field. So as you take a look there at your official finish results, we'll let you quickly take a look at your rookie points as well. And as you can see, Ian Dutta still leading there in rookie points, but what we're really looking for is who has made the chase, if you're with me. And here's a look at what the points would look like if the chase had not started, if we were still looking at overall points. Ian Dutta, obviously, with the great run he had today and being the points leader, he's locked in. Jacob Lawler, with his good run, he was already locked in. Joshua Collard was already locked in. Chris Washer, his good run, he would have been 4th in points. He's locked in. Bob Jones locked in. Danny Wells, his good run gets him 6th. He's locked in. Noah Hart is locked in. And look who comes up into 8th in points. Anthony McCrory, with his runner-up finish today. He is going to put the second Cowtech Audi in this season's chase. Charles Sanford, the Daytona 500 winner, the streak continues. 4 out of 5 seasons, the Daytona 500 winner is going to battle for the championship. He gets 9th, and Sean Henley is just barely going to hang on to that 10th position. It was close between himself, Megan Atkins, and Sean Galligan there, you can see, and Andrea Erickson. It was only 7 points separating 10th through 13th. Henley just barely squeaking in. And as I'm looking here, with John Cittadino involved as well, that's 2 former Snickers Cup Series champs that are going to be in this season's field. Tough break there for Sean Galligan. Was so close, he's not going to be able to make it. Megan Atkins looks like she's going to miss it too. And Andrea Erickson may miss it. As we're going to take a look here, John Cittadino, we know, with the win today, he's already locked into the chase. How about the wild card spots? Well, we know Harrison Langford is the only 2-time winner outside the top 10 in points. He'll get wild card spot number 1. And it looks like John Cittadino will have a teammate to work with in the chase. Andrea Erickson, 13th in points. Yeah, she barely missed out on getting to the top 10 in points, 7 points back, but being the first driver highest in the points with 1 victory, she is going to get into that final and second wild card position. So, take a look at your official your official chase heading into next week. Ian Dutta and Chris Washer, 2 future teammates, by the way, in the Snickers Cup next season. They are tied for the points lead with 2 wins apiece at 1,010 points. Joshua Collard, Bob Jones, Noah Hart, Anthony McCrory, Charles Sanford, and Sean Henley. They're the 1-time winners. They are 3rd through 8th. And the drivers that don't have any wins, Jacob Lawler in 9th and Danny Wells in 10th. And then, of course, our 2 wildcard winners, Harrison Langford and Andrea Erickson, and John Cittadino, winning today's event, gets into it as well. So we know 13 drivers that are going to be battling for the championship. We still have a 14th driver to add with the LCQ next week at Talladega Super Speedway. But hope you guys enjoyed this race. There's your chase fields, folks, for Oreo, Mobil, and Snickers, getting ready for what will be an exciting 10 weekend events to take place. And at the end of those 10 weekends, at the finale at Zenjoltas, we will be crowning ourselves a Mobil, Snickers, and Oreo Truck Series champion. Will it be a repeat champion? Will it be a champion from another series in past seasons? Or will it be for the first time a brand new first-time NNSCRA champion? I don't know, but I can't wait to find out. Hope you guys enjoyed this weekend here at Kansas. Chase fields are complete, and we'll see you next week for our very first chase race. But before we head to that, we will be having the LCQ at Talladega Super Speedway, where 1 truck driver, 1 Mobil Cup Series driver, 1 Snickers Cup Series driver will still get a shot at getting into this season's 3 chases. So hope you'll be tuned in for those. We will see you guys next time here on the NNSCRA Sports Channel, offline racing at its best.